What's up guys, Rekit with another Marvel Strike Force video, and in this video I'm going to talk about the latest blog post, deadliest duo in the galaxy, the Rekit of Gamora and Nebula. And I'm quite excited about this Rekit because I have these two characters at a very high level of red stars. As you can see, 7 red stars for Gamora, which is the best character in these two, and 6 red stars for Nebula. She's not the best, but she's not trash either, or at least she's not trash anymore. So let's take a look at the new updates that they have, the increase in stats and so on. And let's start with Nebula because she's the least interesting character, but she's still quite interesting. And overall she got an increase on the stats: health, damage, armor, focus and resistance by 20%. And if you look at her stats right now, she's 260, so this goes for 310. Then here it will go to 27,000, armor a little bit more, so 12,000, focus and resistance around 11,000, and 9 to 10,000. So not bad. The HP is a little bit low, but based on how much utility she has, dodge chance and so on, it's not going to be that relevant. And the armor could be higher, but it's not terrible either. And we have to remember that together with Adam Warlock, they have a 30% increase on the maximum HP, so that's quite massive for these old characters. And like I said, with the high red stars that I have, I can't complain. Okay, so in terms of the abilities, what changed? So you can see increase in damage, and now Nebula steals 10% of the character's max health and gains speed. Yikes! So if it's the case that this works also with the isolate attack, it will be very interesting. But I would say that Nebula would always use Skirmisher, maybe because of the counters that she has, but we'll see that this is not the case anymore, so we might have to reconsider which isolates we'll use for Nebula. Okay, so for the first ability, increase on 40% of the damage on multiplier. It's still single damage, but now it steals 10% of the character's max health, so that makes her quite interesting. Still gains speed up, which is always good. And on the special, now increases the damage 110% on the multiplier and gain 2 counters, but also gives 2 counters to all Infinity Watch allies, so that includes Adam Warlock and Gamora. So the value of Nebula just by this has increased by a lot because we have these other characters, and Gamora and Adam Warlock, they are going to be massive damage dealers, so this is going to be quite interesting to get these extra counters. And then we have the ultimate ability. Before it did single target damage, 60% chance to chain to 2 targets, gain 2 evades, counterattacks breaks this chain. Now we have increased multiplier and apply heal block. Always chain to 2 adjacent targets, always apply heal block. If this character has more Infinity Watch allies, up from 3 or more, chain to 10 targets. So I mean, this is very good for raids. This is very good for some situations of alliance wars, like if you are facing the Shield 3.0 team. But it's also quite useful for Dark Dimension because you are attacking so many targets. And for example, if you have Raider, you could be spreading vulnerabilities everywhere. Even that she doesn't have... Oh, she actually gets the critical chance from Gamora. So we see already a possibility that we could use Nebula as Raider. Quite interesting. So she gets 2 evade and she applies 1 evade to all Infinity Watch allies. Very, very amazing, and this is guaranteed. Now I don't remember the amount of energy that she requires for this ability, so let's take a look at that. So for the ultimate, 3 energy giving evade to the entire team, and here we have 4 energy and gives 2 counters for the entire team. So this is massive. The value of Nebula has increased by 1000%. It's just ridiculous, based on these 2 abilities, how much they give to she gives to the team and how much she gives to herself, and all the extra abilities she does. And now I remember something. Steal damage for the 10%. Okay, so it's not steal, so it's not life stealing. Okay, so let's continue. Counterattack breaks this chain. If there are 3 or more Infinity Watch allies, it cannot be countered. And always crit against summon or clones. So very cool. And if we are facing summoners, once again, like I said, against Shield 3.0, she will always crit and doing some extra damage. So Raider is going to be definitely interesting for this character. Now we have the old 15% chance of revive and 15% chance of assist. So nothing special, but the new version is just massive. On spawn gain speed up, then if the health is full at the beginning of the match, revive with 10% of this character's max health plus 15 for each infinity ally. So we'll have 60% plus 10%, 70% health on revive. It's just massive, but I guess it only happens one time, or maybe it happens all the time. I guess it's only one time because it requires full health at the beginning of the match, so it's still pretty good. And after she revives, she gains death proof. Very good. So even if she is focused, she will have that death proof after revive. Quite good. On turn, apply assist and speed up to a random ally Gamora. Gamora, she's already very fast, but all this extra speed is going to be quite massive as she has an increase in stats very significant. And then she gains 20% chance of assist. This works for every team, plus 20% for each Infinity Watch ally, so the entire team is going to be 100%, and that's why I said she could be interesting as a skirmisher, but as you can see, she can be interesting as a striker and also as a raider. Okay, so that's Nebula. To be honest, I'm quite happy about this rework. It's just massive, not only for herself, but also for the entire team. A nice amount of stats, doesn't make her super OP, because she doesn't have any kind of regeneration or anything like that, but maybe if we have some healer isolate or something like this, she could be quite annoying as a last standing character or something like this. Okay, so that's Nebula. Now let's take a look at normal Gamora, and then we'll take a look at empowered Gamora. So we are going to take a look at her stats and see how she activates the empowered mode, and then we'll take a look at her abilities on empowered because they are quite different. Okay, so in terms of health, 100% increase. Now this is very good because she had very low health. She was at 240, so like this she will be at 480, which is quite massive. She becomes a top tier character in terms of health. Then we have 40% increase in damage. This puts her on the same level as Hela, I think. Not the same level as Kestrel, but Hela is still a decent level. Then we have 600% armor that goes from 1500 armor to 10,000 armor. Nothing special, but once again we have the other abilities from Nebula, giving her evade to Gamora, so that's quite good. And once again it has very low cooldown, so that's going to be quite important. And then we have 20% focus and resistance. This usually was irrelevant, but now the focus is going to be relevant because of the empowered mode, but it goes up just for a little bit under 10,000, nothing special, so there is a high chance that she will fail some of the attacks or effects that she has now. Okay, so in terms of the abilities, we can see here increase on the multiplier on the basic attack, and before it had a 50% chance of doing 2 attacks, but now it has 100% chance. Massive. And once again, this is the empowered, not empowered version of Gamora. And then we have the special. So the special now attacks for a higher multiplier, chains for 2 adjacent targets. It already did that, but it was only 1 to 2. Now it's always 2. On kill, get 100% speed bar, which is exactly the same. Counter attack breaks this chain, but if Adam Warlock is an ally, this attacks characters in stealth and cannot be countered. So that's massive against Asgardians, against other teams that have stealth or can remove stealth, or to get rid of that Corvus Glaive on the Black Order, as it seems this is going to be a Black Order counter. So finally we have the ultimate, gain offense up. This was before 420% multiplier, on kill get 100% speed R. So we are still getting the offense up for 2 turns. The multiplier is slightly bigger and we still get 100% speed bar, nothing special there. Now the passive is where we got some big changes. So before we had a 10% chance of crit, 10% chance for all Guardian allies, and apply additional 5% chance for all allies. So 15% crit plus the radar. You can see that these characters become quite interesting, especially as we saw Nebula. She has some interesting effects with the critical. And now we have the new ability. So on spawn, gain 1 charges for each non-Infinity Watch allies. So if you have full Infinity Watch allies, Gamora will spawn and get empowered. If you have less for each, it will take more turns, but we'll see that this is not very relevant depending on the characters you have around. So if health is full at the start of the match, revive with 20% max health plus 20% for each Infinity Watch ally. So she can revive up to 100% if you have the entire team. Quite massive, much better than the one from Nebula, but this time she doesn't get the death proof. She'll get death proof somewhere else, so don't worry about that. On these characters or any Infinity Watch allies, lose 1 charge. On any Adam Warlock turn, lose 2 charge instead. So like I said, and we saw in the clips where they showcase Adam Warlock, we had Nebula, we had Gamora, and we had Adam Warlock. So like this, it means that she'll spawn with 2 charges, because there will be 2 characters that are not Infinity Watch allies. But as soon as Adam Warlock has his turn, she loses the 2 charges, and then she becomes empowered. And on turn, if not charged, become empowered. So if she loses all charge, on her turn, she will become empowered. So it's not like she can become empowered on the turn of other characters. On empowered, fill the speed bar by 50%, clears all negative effects from self, heals by 50% of the character's max health. If any negative effect was removed, heal for 10% of each negative effect removed. When this character health drops below 30%, apply taunt to the highest health ally and gain 2 regeneration for self. So in this case, usually it's not going to be Nebula. Probably Adam Warlock will be the one with a max health, or maybe we'll have other character with even higher health. But this is quite an interesting mechanic to protect Gamora, to make sure that she does as much damage as possible with her attacks. And we can see that when she becomes empowered, if we are facing, for example, the Black Order, and Thanos does that early burst, applying bleeds, applying negative effects and so on, that's fine. Gamora will have her turn, clears all those negative effects away, heals to the max, and then she's ready to kick ass and chew bubble gum, and she's all out of gum, but she's still gonna do an amazing job. Yeah, full health, a massive improvement of stats, and new abilities. So you'll take a look at the abilities soon. Let's just finish with the new passive of their base form. Gain 10% crit, Guardian and Infinity Watch allies gain 10% crit. Apply 5% crit to additional allies, gain 10,000 resistance against defense down. So this is to compensate the fact that she has very trashy armor, and for sure it really helps. And we can see that we will still have some synergy with the Guardians and the Infinity Watch allies. So at some point, maybe we'll mix up Drax and Mantis in this team for a while. Maybe it will make an interesting team with Adam Warlock. We'll have to wait and see, but I'm interested at least to try these characters out before the other ones are released. So this was Gamora's base form. Now let's take a look at her empowered form and everything that changes. So most of the abilities change and get extra effects. So let's take a look at that. So the basic attack attacks the primary target and applies 2 bleed now. So she does the attack, applies 2 bleed, and then she does bonus attack for more damage. Quite good, could be a nice striker, applying those extra bleeds and so on. And she's quite fast. And taking a look at, let's take a look at her cooldowns. So in terms of her cooldowns, I think it's 3, and so we have 3 on the special, and we have 5 on the ultimate. So that's interesting, but I'm not sure if I think this has new, yeah, it has new energy costs. So it goes from 3 out of 3 to 3 out of 5, and then goes from no, this one goes from 3 out of 3 to 4 out of 6. Yikes. and the ultimate goes from 3 out of 5 to 3 out of 5, I think. And so not huge change in terms of the ultimate, just the special got a little bit nerfed in terms of the energy cost. So let's take a look at the special and the reason why it got nerfed. So clear all death proof from all enemies. If any death proof was removed, apply death proof to a maximum of 3 to all Infinity Watch allies. So this is why I said it's not very relevant if Gamora gets death proof when she dies or not, because she has the ability of giving death proof to herself. So before she dies or after she dies, she has the ability to do this even without killing the enemy. So she can steal and apply to herself. Attack all enemies for 400% damage, apply heal block for 2 turns. This attack cannot miss. So as you can see, high increase in power. So it goes from 270%, no, 330% damage to 400% damage, so quite massive. And it goes from up to 3 targets to all of the enemies, and now it cannot miss, so very, very good. And in terms of the ultimate, like I said before, 3 out of 5 in terms of energy, gain offense up like before, but now it goes from 400% damage to 600% damage, still gets the 100% speed bar on kill, and this attack cannot be dodged or blocked. Yikes. And this is going to be very interesting after you do the passive, because the passive is just massive. Okay, so let's take a look at the empowered passive. If this character at the start of the match is full health, then revive with 20% max health plus 20%. So once again, she revives with 100% health if she has the full Infinity Watch team. On turn, flip defense up on any enemy that has defense up. Yikes. So Ebony Maw applies defense up to the entire team, and here we go, empowered Gamora applying defense down to the entire team. Yikes. And then she can go with the 600% damage on Ebony Maw's face and say goodbye, Daddy. Okay, so on turn, flip defense up on any enemy that has defense up. Yikes. When this character drops below 30% health, apply taunt to the highest health and apply 2 regeneration to self. So this is amazing, like I said before, more regeneration for her, and gain 15% piercing for each Infinity Watch ally. So up to 60% piercing, and once again, on top of that 600% damage is just very, very yikes. And once again, she has a 10% crit across the board for all allies and herself, and 5% crit to additional allies. So once again, the allies with crit is going to be very, very good. And finally, we have once again gained 10% resistance to against the defense down. This is once again to compensate the fact that she has very, very trashy armor and no block chance that we know for now. We don't know if the team is going to provide any deflects or not. Or the only thing we know is that we'll get some counters and some evades from Nebula, and we can already see that thanks to these counters we'll be able to apply tons of bleeds to the enemies. So that's the Rekit for Gamora and Nebula. Yikes, I'm quite excited about these characters once again because I have them at very, very high red stars and they became quite good, and from what they say here somewhere, this is supposed to be one of the best teams in the game, if not the best team, because it says the new top dog in the battle. And I see high potential for them in Alliance Wars offense and also in Arena offense, but we'll have to wait and see if they have even a higher potential with the other characters or not. So that's going to be the video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. We were taking a look at the latest blog post with the reworks for Gamora and Nebula. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, you know what to do. Smash that like button like a boss. If you found information on this video helpful, make sure you share it with your friends on Facebook and Discord. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe for more Marvel Strike Force content, and I'll catch you guys later.